Welcome back, lords and ladies. My mic sounds wonderful. To the latest episode of
Typed Under Basic. The podcast for finding hobby friends. Is that what we say now?
Yeah, and keeping them.
And keeping them. Yeah, we're your virtual hobby friends. My name is Scott. I'm my co-host,
John.
And this is another episode of this thing where we talk at you for a long time about plastic toy soldiers.
Right. Yeah. Expensive plastic toy soldiers.
Let's just get right into it. First item on the Preamble Ramble is why do I eat less and more?
Yeah, Scott, you obviously wrote that one down. So.
Yeah, that's definitely part of my lore. Yeah, the whole poop stuff.
It's in my Wikipedia page.
Yeah. So John put that in there. I don't know why. I don't know what it has to do with miniatures, but I'm intrigued to hear him link it up.
All right, yeah, there's very little to no connection to miniatures with the story. Okay, so I got this new thing where I'm like, okay, I am at home all day, every day, where I work from home. Mm-hmm. And it's so much easier to snacky snack all day long.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, I got to find a way to cut back in the snacky snacks. So I've got a new routine. And when I'm not here eating tendies,
okay,
I don't eat breakfast. I just basically have never liked breakfast. You know, breakfast times, like if there's a donut or a bagel, like I'm like all about that. But I don't want just like regular breakfast. I just don't eat breakfast.
Okay, hold on. Point of clarity here. Do you not like breakfast food?
I love breakfast food.
Okay, so just the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had breakfast.
Fair.
I had breakfast for dinner last night for supper.
Oh, nice.
I made a spread.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm just not hungry in the mornings. So I'm doing something that's kind of intermittent fasting. So when I eat supper at night, I don't eat again until lunch the next day.
Cool.
And then at lunch, I have this shake that I have, which is pretty good. I got different flavors. It's a protein and like super greens shake.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like you're in the Matrix and you're eating that like nutrient paste.
Yeah, it tastes like tasty wheat.
Okay.
How do you know what tasty wheat tastes like?
I don't know.
If you've never really had it in the real world. And then I have a regular dinner. Okay. So other than that one meal, all I'm doing is drinking like one glass worth of stuff. And I poop more.
Okay? Is there a lot of fiber in the shake?
I mean, there's like 4 grams of fiber, but that's not like an obscene amount. And it's not like it's like a water faucet coming up my beehole, right? And not like I'm peeing out my butt. It's like regular poops. So this has been going on for about 2 weeks, okay? And I don't understand where it's all coming from.
Okay. We're going to need to get Penny on the line here and be like, Dr. Penny, what's going on with my body?
Is she like a gastroenterologist?
I don't know. I just assume all doctors know everything about the human body.
Yeah. Tell me about my poop shoot. Oh my God. Maybe it's just a backlog of so many like tendies and fries that have been wedged in there.
You got them loaded up.
Yeah, and I just need to keep cleansing.
No, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think the body works that way.
Oh, it doesn't?
No. But, I don't know a lot. Maybe it does.
There could be some stuff in there that just needs to clear out. So anyway, instead of going to a trained medical professional for this conversation to figure it out, I will just share it with all the sprues and spruettes.
And they can diagnose this in comment section. Diagnose you.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with me. My poops are great.
They're perfect.
Yeah. Solid, not too firm, not too soft, right color. Anyways, moving on. This is basically the Preamble Ramble today is John's confessional to you.
Yeah.
John got some additional Secret Santa gifts from his Secret Santa.
Yeah. We have our mini painting Secret Santa swap, which a lot of the sprues and spruettes joined in on.
Nice.
And I got a second package. Apparently, the packages were supposed to come together, and he sent me a nice little note here that I'm not going to read to all you, but it does say out here, thank you for all your content. Sorry about your loss, which would have been he probably watched the Remus video recently. And in the letter, he notes that he found out it was me after the first package got here. And so he wrote a nice note about the podcast and about our channel. So that was really nice. And then he sent me some more things. And he included a USB drive.
Oh,
and
that's dangerous.
Right. And so I'm going to put it into my work computer.
That's the right spot for it?
Yeah, I have to explain that one to work. But he says it's a bunch of 3D printing files he thinks that I will enjoy.
Oh, that's really cool.
Because he knows I have a 3D printer now.
It's very thoughtful.
So that's nice. And he also sent me a Castlevania coloring book.
Yes.
And even more exciting, a Castlevania Lords of Shadow art book. In this, Scotty was looking at this as we were setting up.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Art books are awesome.
Art books are awesome. And I must have put, because I was explaining, I forgot what I wrote down in my list, for the mini swap where people can get ideas to get you stuff. I must have put something down. I must have put it down that I like Castlevania because I like all things vampires.
Yes.
Castlevania is one of like my starting point as a young lad.
Yes.
Of being exposed to vampires. And so there's some amazing like scenery stuff in here in the book of like just great environments that we can beg, borrow, and steal from for our miniature basing and dioramas. There's great art of the monsters and all sorts of moody lighting and stuff.
That's fantastic.
So this was cool. So if you have something that you're excited about, an IP outside of even the miniature painting world, I implore you to do a little digging and see if there's any art books on that. So if you, like Scott, are a big Animal Crossing person, you can get the art of Animal Crossing and use that to inspire your miniature painting product.
Absolutely. Funny story about Animal Crossing. My wife isn't a video game player. Like, she never understood it. And we got a Switch right at the beginning of the coronavirus, like before we even knew that was going to be a thing. So we got really lucky because I think it went out of stock after that.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's stocking up.
Yeah, on consoles. And then later, I bought her Animal Crossing to play, which is basically an RPG. You're collecting things, you're getting achievements, you're like,
Making a farm with lambs and...
Yeah, you're not like leveling up. It's not like talent tree and stuff like that, but... She turned into a full-fledged gamer with that game.
Man.
And she was like, I need to do this thing today because like it can only happen today, and I need to make my money today. And it's like, you sound like a WoW player talking about daily quests right now.
I need to go get my dailies done.
Exactly.
I got to go run my farm route to collect all my essences and come back. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Other Chinese farmers in Animal Crossing.
Funny story. I actually hired a Chinese farmer to level up a second warrior that I was playing because I had already had a max level undead warrior, and I was like, I don't want to do this again, but I want an alliance warrior, so I just paid someone to level it up for me. You ever done that before?
No, I haven't.
Felt a little dirty, but I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, did you like send him a Christmas card that year or something?
No, I
like,
paid him.
Thanks for becoming my friend.
I just paid Chinese people to be my friend.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, Black Friday confessional. I assume this is mostly like, what did we buy on Black Friday?
Yeah, did you buy anything on Black Friday?
I mean, I re-upped. I had my classic annual fight with Adobe about why I deserve to have the Black Friday special, even though I've been a customer for like 7 years.
You need to get like a guy. It's always the same guy. It's like, hey, I'm calling up Stan
It's
again.
me again.
Hey, Stan, it's Scott.
Yeah.
I need that sweet deal.
I know you said last year was the last year, but I forgot.
Right. But it's been a whole nother year for you to change your mind, Stan.
Yeah. So I kind of got him cornered a little bit because I keep saying, you gave it to me last year. You can't not give it to me this year. And they always fall for it. So yeah.
Stan's not listening right now.
Yeah, so I got Adobe, the annual sub. I think that's it, though.
That's it? You didn't buy any stuff for yourself?
No. I don't know. There's a good sale on Miniature Market. That's always a good one. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of miniatures. I don't know if I need any more. I should have bought a static grass applicator. I should have looked for that.
You should have.
I didn't.
I just got a new Micro Mark whatever catalog in the mail. I should have brought that.
Oh, yes.
Probably could get a good deal.
Okay,
I'll
what did
send you
you
a
get?
picture of their gratis stack applicators.
Gratis stack applicator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I spent a lot of money.
On camera gear or hobby stuff?
No, it's just hobby stuff.
Okay.
I mean, I have my list of camera gear stuff that I want to get, but that's kind of like I want to get for all the sprues and spruettes. Scott has this sweet like ceiling rig, like he's in a big fancy studio.
But it's like a tiny one. It's like a tiny studio.
one. But his tiny studio was a tiny one.
It's very nice for cables.
Yeah. Yeah, and to get to keep your lighting where you want it and not have to move it all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm already sick of, like, I'm going to move over my microphone thing on the stand and move over my light thing and move over my dampifier.
Your dampifier?
So I want to get the ceiling rig stuff, but if I want to do that, then I need lights, and I need lights. I need more mounts, and I need more mounts. Then I also want to have an extra camera. If I have an extra camera, then I also want extra fill lights. And so I'm suddenly like, okay, this is like $25,000. And so it's like, if I buy one thing, I've then committed to myself to buy all the things.
Yes and no. Like, if you bought one of these lights, you wouldn't have to do the ceiling rig thing. You could just get a stand for it, which I realize you don't like the idea of stands. But that's like a beginning step.
Sure.
That's where I started.
Yeah. I should get a nice metal C stand anyway.
Yeah. They're
need one of those.
super nice. Yeah.
But where I would have it is above my painting area because I want to use it as a painting light. And that's like over my desk. Like I can't have a stand permanently there for a painting light. Then also have it be able to rotate so that I can rotate it towards me from a different angle for like talking headshots and all that stuff. We're just going to talk shop here the rest of the episode.
More talking shop. You can actually buy. So like the way these things plug into stuff is with something called a baby pin. Just pick a metal pin and it goes in, you screw something into it and it gets stuck there. They sell wall plates with a baby pin on them. So if you didn't want a whole ceiling rig, you just get a little plate, screw it into a joist, pin, easy.
Nice.
Stuck up there.
Nice. Okay, let me look at that. But I like the idea of scaffolding and using it like monkey bars.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just going to have a whole like American Ninja Warrior thing down there hanging from the ceiling. So what did I buy? Every year on Black Friday, Kingdom Death reopens its Kickstarter.
Oh my! Oh, this is the thing again.
Yeah, and so I spent like $600.
Bruh, how?
Hey, I
you
didn't
fall for it.
I didn't spend the $1,500 I almost was going to get everything.
What are you even buying?
I don't even know. Like,
Don't you have everything already?
I have everything that's out. I don't have everything
there's
that's
new
not
stuff.
out.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
These are like different waves. They're like wave 3, wave 3B, and wave 4. And the only way you could get those was if you initially kickstarted the game like 4 years ago. So they open it up for 24 hours for you if you never kickstarted it to jump in and get these things.
24 hours.
Yeah, it was a mad dash.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of mad dashes, maybe that's something we talk about in the... No, we'll talk about it now because it's buying stuff. Yesterday, the Chimera paint sets came on sale. And their website just crashed.
Okay.
And so everyone in their Facebook group was like, "Rah!" Which I felt bad. I felt bad initially. I'm like, that's a good thing, right? And they're like, don't worry, we've got plenty of sets. We've got 500 sets. And I was like, well, that's not a lot.
Yeah.
500 of each one. And so they eventually took the website down. But I got my order in before they took the site down. So nice. I got both of them. And then they said, well, don't worry. We still have at least a couple hundred sets left. So I'm like, wait. So your website crashed with like 200 nerds on it at the same time? Like, what is running that server that is so unable to handle like 200 people? Maybe it's if they're all trying to check out at the same time.
Maybe it's someone. Maybe they're running their server on their site on some friend server that's just hosted locally at their house or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
Who would do that?
Like a certain person
Who
that I know.
That?
Yeah, who would do that?
Dude, I don't have any issues from my Teespring account. I sold T-shirts. No one crashed that. So
that's not hosted on that server.
Well, it's a redirect account, Scott.
It has nothing to do with what's hosted. That
it's a redirect. It still counts.
Okay. Okay.
I also bought a buttload of contrast paints, like most of them.
Why?
Because when we talk about what we painted, I had a revelation, and I got a little antsy in the pantsy. And I found a site that through Black Friday was doing their traditional discount for GW products plus an additional 10%.
Okay.
So it ended up being 25% off. And that's, GW is like Apple or like Nintendo, or like you just can't get discounts on stuff.
Yeah.
They don't put stuff on sale.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm just going to do it. And it was going to cost me like $7 shipping anyway. So I bought like 15, 20 contrast paints.
Okay.
So we'll talk about why I did that.
Okay.
Shortly. And that ends the Preamble Ramble.
Sure. For what it's worth, all of these things, like I have a ton of fucking paint, and there is no reason to have all this paint, other than the fact that I have a YouTube channel and I plan to compare them at certain points in the future. If I was a regular painter, I would not buy the amount of stuff that I have, which I realize is very easy to say for my position, but I just want to be clear because there are times where I'll say, like, you don't need to buy things to be a good painter, and that's 100% true. And I just want to clarify that right now.
Yeah.
We have disposable incomes and stuff like that, so we can buy this stuff, but you don't need to.
Yeah. There's always, and I think most of us feel this way, like there's always the itch of something that will make it easier. And I don't mean easier in a negative term. That will make my process easier to achieve the results I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And the tools can help with that, and they certainly can. But the tools you have can also work to get that higher quality or improve your painting too.
Sure, yeah. And you might buy something thinking that it's going to help and it might not help, or it might help in a less significant way than you hoped for. That's probably the majority of the time, honestly, is that.
Yeah. And anything, even if it's just a different paint brand, there is a learning curve to it and how it acts and in how much you have to thin it and how it reacts to maybe other additives or just water or how the base coats look, how thick the paint is, what kind of medium does it use? Like there's a lot of variables involved. And so to think that any given new product straight out of the package is just going to simply work better, everything has to be given time.
Yeah.
And you got to put in some hours with it. And it may work better for you, or it may, we may realize that actually the thing that I thought, that GW Rhinoxide that I thought wasn't that great, is actually really good. So it's a learning thing.
Okay. Yeah, cool. All right. On to what we have painted.
When did you paint, Scotty boy?
I think last time I showed you a red cap that I started, and I finished the red cap in black and white.
You're just making me scared that every time a finger gets close to that little spindly sword, you're just going to snap the thing off.
Yeah, it's got a bend to it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I was on the fence about straightening it. I straightened it a little bit, but the fact that it's kind of bendy and janky kind of just adds to this dude's character.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a useless rapier.
Yeah, it plays into who he is.
Yeah.
I like it because it's not just your typical, there's a straight sword and then it's just got a curve to it. It's actually got multiple curves going on at different angles.
I didn't add those in. That was just there.
That's intended.
Yeah.
And it may be, or it may just be that this looks cooler without it. Okay. So you're going with the black and white paint job here.
Yes, I am. I've never done that before. To me, this kind of thing seems like a gimmick. It's like, why waste time painting something black and white? That seems like, I never liked things that were like solely an exercise and not like fun, I guess I'm still painting a model. I'm not like painting spheres on a sheet or some shit like that, It's not truly like an exercise.
Painting spoons?
Exactly. Painting spoons or something like that, or like exploring 3D shapes. Oh, Jesus Christ. The sexy goggles are coming out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about these in the after party.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to take a deep dive on this little boy.
Okay. John's busted out his magnifying lenses to analyze my paint job. But yeah, so I painted a model entirely in black and white. There'll be a video on the channel very soon about this. Basically, the idea being that color is oftentimes a crutch, but also not a crutch, but just so color is, it helps us to forget about all the other forms of artistic expression that we as miniature painters have. And in this video, I explore two things specifically. That is the texture of various objects that you can get across with your paint, and also the finish of various objects, certain things that are less reflective or more reflective. And so I try to explore that sans color without it at all. And kind of like forcing yourself to not use color makes you think about all other things that much more. So my hope is that going forth in future paint jobs that I will think about texture and finish more, even when using color.
As I'm looking at this,
man, I don't even want to know what it looks like fucking zoomed in. Jesus. Like a psychopath.
I'm going to have you try these on later. I'm going to explain something to you about them. But, okay, looking at this, I realize how hard this is to do. Like, not even having gone through the process myself.
Yeah.
But you have to think about every single object in so many layers. And what I mean by that is you have to consider what color it would be, and that would determine how bright, based on its hue, how bright it would be in a black and white scale. Yeah. You have to consider what the surface is made out of, how that reflects light. You have to consider the distance it is from your light source, which his knees aren't as bright as his hat.
Yeah.
You have to consider so much, and texture too. This doesn't look like it's just a simple airbrush it black, zenithal it white, and then add a little bit of texture. There was some more stuff that needed to be done here.
Yeah, honestly, the zenithal undercoat that I did was largely useless. It mostly got painted over. The parts that I'm pretty proud of, I like his shoulder, specifically his left shoulder, because the max highlight isn't on the top of the shoulder. It's like rotated down to that specular highlight area. Then there's a shadow, and then right below that shadow, there's an environment reflection. You can see it on the front of the model, not so much the back. But there's like a little bit of highlight right at the bottom of that shoulder muscle, then a shadow, then the main specular highlight. Stuff like that. That was like really fun to do. Also on the nose, the highlight on the bridge of the nose isn't on the top of that big old bump. It's like kind of lower down. I got little specular highlights in his eyes and things like that to make him look glossy.
Yeah, the bright little dot on the eyes is so important.
Yeah.
You got it. You hit it.
Thanks, man.
It's way all up ins too. It's like,
oh God, it was so hard to get in there.
Cavern in there with a whole bunch of like 2 layers of eyelids
and like saggy flesh and stuff. Yeah, that's actually a scenario where having a paintbrush that doesn't have so many bristles on it is helpful, so you can get it into something or in between something sometimes.
Yeah, you're really threading the needle with that.
Yeah, that's a great expression for it. Yeah, you're threading a needle.
I really like that his beard, to me, I see it, I'm like, that's either a really dark gray or black beard or like a dark brown beard.
Yeah.
I can tell the color of it, even though there's no color there.
I'm glad, yeah.
So it's cool. His fucking feet just freak me out.
So gigantic.
And they're so weird. They're like his feet are covered in sacks, and he's got this twine that's wrapped around it to keep it on there.
Yeah, dude. Who needs shoelaces when you can tie 7 individual laces on each foot?
Yeah. He never takes his shoes off. It's way too much work.
Dude's like 2 foot, like, I don't know, 2 foot 6 inches, but his feet are like size 14.
How good are those plinths, by the way? We're gonna probably order another set pretty soon.
I'm fresh out. I think I have one left. It's a big one.
I decided that I'm gonna keep 2 unused. One of the big ones and one of that size, because they work so well in taking shots of stuff where you can put the mini on it.
Yeah.
And it raises it up a bit, so if you have it either on a table or on something else, you can get that out of the shot and still have that kind of fade away, but it looks fancy. So I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna have to make another order here soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Oh, that's all you did, huh?
That's all I did.
I painted stuff for fun.
Oh.
Yeah, not for videos this fortnight. And I'm glad that I did, because I didn't actually end up painting anything in the last 2 weeks for videos. Because if you remember a few episodes ago, I talked about having to paint the giant dragon while I was painting a kill team squad in the same week to get it out to my collaborators so they can record a game with it.
Has that happened?
Yes.
Okay.
So
did you share it anywhere?
The video's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The video will be out by the time y'all are listening to this.
Oh.
It will have been out last Friday. But then I did 2 videos. So the last 2 weeks I've been editing and collaborating and getting some sweet sound from them for my video. And I'm really happy with how this is going. But because of that, I didn't have anything to paint. Like I was like, I got 2 videos to do. I got 2 weeks to get them out. I'm still not super efficient, but I'm getting quicker. And this is an all new kind of approach to how I'm creating a video, because one of them is a video on their channel, but it's me.
Like talking head footage of you.
Yeah, I'm doing a quick like tutorial video on 5 quick tips to get your minis from the tabletop level to a little bit higher.
Sure.
Okay. And so it's John, but it's their channel. So I have to kind of like, it's a gaming channel. They probably don't know me. So I need to be Primo John in 5 minutes or less.
You gotta sell yourself.
Yeah, and not super weird John. Like, because they watch this video and they go back over to my channel and they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Daryl.
Don't worry about Daryl. And so it was interesting because I had to kind of put myself in a different mindset and how I approach it, but still be true to me. So that was been fun. Anyway, I decided I still needed to scratch the itch of painting. After I go a couple days without painting something, I just feel like my superpowers are lessening if they're not being used.
Oh, you have superpowers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, painting superpowers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And there's some, not in a superpower way, but there is some truth to consistently, being active in your practice to not kind of lessen your skills. If you've ever gone a couple weeks or a couple months or longer without painting and you get back to it, you realize that even like the basic hand-eye coordination stuff, it kind of fades a little bit in understanding how paint works and all that. The more years that you have into it, I feel like that fading is less.
Maybe, yeah.
But I just wanted to keep up to snuff. And so I painted the 4 starting survivors of Kingdom Death. And this gets into why I bought the contrast paint. So I did a new method where I use the airbrush to get all the starting colors and the 2 light sources. So they're all holding lanterns. They're supposed to be in the dark. Mm-hmm. And so I have just a faint desaturated blue glow from a back and above, and then forward and below is the light from the lantern. So I didn't do a black and white sketch on them. I painted them all in like a armor brown or like a deep reddish brown, very dark, deep reddish brown. And then I built up with layers of orange almost up to pure white from the direction of the lantern.
Yeah.
So that warm colors are coming on there. And then from back and above, I painted cool colors. I started with like a really deep purpley blue. I think I used an indigo ink there. So the shadows go from a warmer shadow to a cooler shadow to start with. And then I built up a desaturated, almost like to like a Fenrisian gray kind of color. And after that was all done, I then, because they have a bunch of different surfaces and a different, like they've got skin, they've got cloth, they have the metal in the lantern, they've got their hair that are different colors, whatever. I then went over with contrast paint with the true color that surface would be, regardless of the light. So if it was in a cool, like a neutral light setting, the blonde hair would be blonde.
Right.
Now, because I have all this atmospheric light already put down first, in contrast paint is so transparent, you can get a hint that it is still that color, but it still fades into the atmospheric light. So it's kind of like working it in reverse, where you paint everything the color you want it to be, and then you influence it with other colors from the surrounding. Mm-hmm. I kind of did it in reverse, and it worked so slick.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you can just go in with 1 or 2 highlights with acrylic paint to kind of bring out those highlights. Okay. And then the final thing I did was an orange, like a fiery orange ink, very thin down through the airbrush from the direction where the light was coming. So then all those acrylic highlights that I did, like on the muscles on the chest and stuff, now are smoothly into the rest of the body because of the orange light. So
okay, question for you.
Yeah.
Does this method have legs for like high quality competitive painting, or is it exclusively for 0 to 40% ball sack effort?
Sure. I think the final quality looks like about a 75% ball sack, but the actual effort was more like a 40% ball sack. You get a 35% ball sack return on investment.
God damn.
With this method. And I've got ways that I want to tweak it because I do want to do a video on this. And full disclosure, this isn't something that's like, oh, I just came up with in a closet somewhere by myself. Like, I'm definitely influenced by people like, not just me,
Yeah.
and big old Deno. Like, the kinds of ideas behind and the techniques that they use made me think of how I could kind of interpret that myself.
Dude, I love imagining you sitting in a dark closet just thinking of technique.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, I could do this. And it's like your wife opens the closet and she's like, honey, what are you doing?
Don't bother me, I'm thinking. The light burns.
That's cool, yeah. Of course, you can use contrast paints on competitive entries. There's a million ways you can apply a contrast paint. I don't mean to imply you can't do that.
Why I really like this and where I think it has legs for a competitive level or like really boosting your painting is that because it's very transparent paint, and you're not just limited if you want to do multiple coats to increase the intensity of the contrast paint, but because it's transparent or translucent or trans something, it allows other tones to come show through. So you have depth of color, and that's the biggest thing that it really, for the amount of ball sack used, the amount of ball sack gained.
You gain ball sack.
You gain ball sack.
I got 2.5 balls now.
Yeah, right? That little baby one's growing.
Right in the center, dude.
Right in the center. I am the Triforce.
It's like a Nurgle thing now.
Because typically when you're trying to paint quickly, you're going to want to not have a bunch of variation and depth of color, because that just means more layers, more additional coats, and then that's time adding up quickly. But here, you can do that quickly and add more depth. Depth of flavor.
Mm-hmm. A little seasoning.
A little spiciness. So that's what I painted. That's what you painted. That's what we all painted.
Speaking of models, as we tend to do on this miniature-focused podcast, today's episode is brought to us by a brand that makes miniatures.
Huh. It's funny how that worked out.
Yeah.
So Scott, just off the top of your head, what are your thoughts on orcs?
Something you're doing?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Today's video is sponsored by Broken Anvil, a miniature company that is on the rise with some sick-ass resin models.
John and I have both had the pleasure of working with Chris and Broken Anvil Miniatures on both of our respective channels, and I guess they wanted to go for the hat trick.
Why not?
Zug zug.
Chris and his team of resin wizards have put together this amazing orc for us to paint and oogle over.
Halgrath Battleborn comes in at a healthy 42mm heroic scale. Basically, Broken Anvil stared GW in the eye in their game of scale creep chicken and said, bet you can't do this.
Why are you poking me?
So this nice big scale allows you to take your time and really boost up these wonderful details and crispy edges all over this model. Or, because it's so nice and big, you can use it as a big old orc for your gaming needs and slap paint on it and get it done quickly.
But I hear you asking, what game might I use such a figure for? Good question, viewer. Broken Anvil is coming out with a game that their fantasy line of miniatures supports. And this model is something of a limited edition release. When the full game comes out, this model will have a version available, but it won't be this one. So if you like this design, get it while it's hot.
Das Dingo Man. Where me enemies be hiding?
In addition to this beefy orc, Broken Anvil has a Kickstarter on the horizon called Dungeon Delvers. Set to release on December 23rd. This will be a full range of 32mm models that you can use for all your amazing gaming and role-playing needs.
Linked in the show notes, you'll find Halgrath Battleborn if you're interested in picking them up for the holiday season. Also down there is their Instagram account that you can follow to get updates about the Kickstarter.
Thank you for supporting the podcast, Broken Anvil Miniatures.
Job's done.
So John was driving down here, and we didn't know what topic to do for a podcast. And then I remembered about all the kids.
All the kids. I was also driving up here, not down here.
Yeah, I always forget. So in my Discord server of my personal hometown friends, probably this entire year, probably earlier in the year, tier lists were a huge thing for various things. Your favorite sports people, your favorite characters in video games, your favorite animes, stuff like that.
There's a break in that word anime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a hard time getting that out. And so I thought, I did a little search on the Tier Maker site for miniature war games, and there wasn't one. And I was a little bit confused because I thought that this is a shoo-in. So I thought that me and John could rank miniature war games, A, B, C, D, and then NA for we haven't played it yet, not applicable. And we could discuss our rankings because I don't think they're the same. I think they're different, and I'm sure there'll be much shouting and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, it's linked in the show notes for you to do as well. And the way this works is if you organize it and then hit the save, save/download button, it'll upload your results to this survey. And then we can kind of see how the sprudes and spruettes kind of what they prefer, what they like in their miniature war games. So, how should we start off with the games that we haven't played and then go up from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, if you have one and I have played it, I'll say I'll get back to that.
Okay.
Okay. Now, we should probably also have a couple of caveats here.
I love caveats. Honestly, I love caveats.
The first caveat is you may be saying, well, isn't this just your opinion, man? And I'd be like, most of the times in this situation, yes, that would be the case. However, our opinion is in fact in this situation.
This is not a caveat. This is the opposite of a caveat.
Well, the caveat is there is no caveat.
This is getting us into more danger.
Right. Well, earlier in this episode, off camera, we decided to lean into something. And so I decided we're going to continue the lean.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm going to prove to all of you that my opinion is the best opinion. Caveat the second. Technically caveat the first because the first caveat wasn't caveat.
Yeah.
Is how we are deciding how we're ranking them. Now, you could just say, well, how good you think the game is.
That's what I did.
I also have an additional kind of subset of why I think the game is exciting to me.
Okay.
And that would be how cool the models are.
Okay. So I didn't consider that.
Right? Because if a game is amazing, but it uses derpy little green army men, I don't want to play that game.
That's fine. I think it's up to you how you want to rank it.
I'm just telling you why I'm ranking it and why my ranking's right.
Yeah. Why it's factual and correct.
Right. The other kind of subset for me too, why something could, maybe I gave it a C and in a different realm it would be a B or an A, would be, and this is a tough one, is how popular it is. Because a game I can have fun with, but if I can't play it, it falls down the ladder for me. I might still buy it. I almost certainly will still buy it. I may have an army for it or a little team for it. But if I don't get to play the game or I feel like there's not a big crowd here, it just is that sucks.
Be the change you want to see in the world, John.
Yeah.
Make that gaming group. Also, you made this tier list while pooping at my house, as he does every fucking time. You thought a lot about this when you were in there for however many minutes. I was just like, I like this one. I don't like that one. I didn't really think that hard.
Yeah, you actually said that out loud.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird...
That's kind of how I talk when the cameras stop rolling.
I like this one.
All right, starting off with games that we don't play, or we haven't played. I'm going to assume there's a few that we both haven't played.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I believe neither of us have played Hordes and War Machine.
Correct.
Okay. Neither of us have played Batman miniature game.
Correct.
Kings of War.
Correct.
Blood Bowl.
I have played Blood Bowl.
Okay,
I played Blood Bowl.
I haven't played that. I haven't played BattleTech.
I have not played BattleTech.
Necromunda.
I have not played Necromunda.
X-Wing.
I have not played X-Wing.
And I know you've played this one, Star Wars Legion.
I've played Star Wars Legion.
Okay.
All right. Additional ones I haven't played.
Okay.
I haven't played Mordheim.
Oh, neither have I. I played the PC game, but not the model one.
I don't think that counts.
I know, it doesn't.
I haven't played Middle-earth strategy battle game.
I have.
And why would they name it strategy battle game? Why don't they just call it Middle-earth with little toys?
Maybe it's an IP thing. You can't just call something Middle-earth.
I don't know. That sucks. And I think
Did you say Middle Earth with toys?
Yeah.
Because that name sucks. That's why.
But it's funny. And then the last one I have not played is Warhammer Fantasy.
Ooh. Crimes Against Humanity. I played it.
Yeah. Well, if they bring it back in 2032,
You won't play it.
I'll play it just enough to shit on it.
Okay. So those are the games we haven't played. There are many left. Because I put 22 games in here, and I tried to get the ones, like, there are so many miniature war games. It's insane. I tried to do the ones that are kind of all, I don't know, what's the word? Topical? Relevant?
Relevant is probably it. Yeah.
Fantasy, sci-fi kind of stuff.
Yeah. And there's some other ones that could be on here.
What do you think? What did I miss?
Judgment.
Yeah.
I haven't played Judgment. I've heard a lot of really good things.
Judgment, and then the other Steamforged game, God Tier.
Tier?
I think it's Tear. It's a mystery for the ages. We're never going to know. Yeah, there's a lot that could go on here, but these are the ones that were kind of top of my mind.
Yep.
Anyways, starting out at D level. Do you have any ones in the D tier?
I got a D.
Oh, you got... So do I.
Well, before we get to D.
Okay, before we get to the D.
The NA section. Now,
Yeah.
there might be some information in the NA section, which means that it...
Oh, you have
isn't
opinions
on
about these
here.
games.
Well, I don't want to break down all of them, but I want to just discuss maybe why they haven't been played by us.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. And to me, they kind of falls into a couple categories. The first one is the models don't interest me whatsoever. Battletech.
Oh no, just lost like half of our viewership. Yeah. No, I agree. I don't like Battletech models either. Although
they're new ones.
The new ones look way better.
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I can be coerced into trying that. Another thing is if you don't have a big gaming group around you that play it, or you don't know anybody, maybe that's the biggest thing. I don't know anybody that plays Kings of War. Although I just found out my buddy Kyle and another friend are starting up Kings of War.
So you lied.
So I did just lie.
Right now.
Well, he doesn't even have all his army yet. So then maybe if he gets an army and he tells me he's badass, maybe I'll get into it.
Okay. They did just get their 3rd edition, like not just, but like earlier this year, I believe. Anyways.
Yeah. So those are kind of my big reasons, or if like the setting or the aesthetic, even if the models are cool, but like the aesthetic just doesn't quite do it for me.
Yeah, like Batman. That's very specific. Like if you're into Batman, you're into that game.
Yeah.
I'm not really into Batman, so. Oh, Hordes and War Machine kind of seem like dead games. Although there's a particular game in my A tier that is definitely a dead game.
Oh, I wonder what that one will be.
So it's not really an excuse. I've heard phenomenal things about X-Wing. There's a report that I think is quarterly or semi-annually that shows the number of sales between various sci-fi and fantasy miniature war games, and typically 40K is at the top. But for several semi-annual or quarterly reports in a row, X-Wing was actually ahead of 40K.
Wow.
So there's a period where it was very, very popular, but I haven't played it, but I do know that about it.
I heard that from a kind of a game design standpoint, it's a really good game. It's a tight game, which is cool. I have no interest in little pew-pew fighter ships, but I can see if I did, I would definitely play this game.
Yeah. Space combat, it sounds like a cool thing, but not my cup of tea necessarily. Here's an interesting thing. Out of this list of games you haven't played, what's the one you want to play the most? Or like the two most?
Oh, good question. I dig the Necromunda models the most.
Okay, that's fair.
So that one, and is Mordheim even still like a live game?
No, it isn't, but it has a very cult following.
Okay.
And so if you wanted to play it, I believe you definitely could.
Isn't there a game that's basically by a third party, Frostgrave, that is basically their own version of Necromunda rules that are updated?
Oh, fuck. Frostgrave's not in here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That needs to be in here. I'll edit it.
Okay.
That would be in my NA list anyways.
Yeah. That would probably be my number one to try, because I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. I don't know how similar it is to Mordheim, having played neither of them. I know that Frostgrave is like a D10 or a D20 system, and it's kind of chaotic and fun, and I know Mordheim's kind of like that too. So I don't know. But fuck, Frostgrave, I forgot about that one. Yeah, I agree with you. Frostgrave, definitely. I want to play Blood Bowl so I can compare it to a certain game.
That might be in your A tier.
Yeah, that might be. Yeah, and then I agree. Necromunda models are awesome, and I also want to play Mordheim because I like old shit.
I think we covered our NAs pretty well there.
Okay, D tier.
D tier. You have any Ds?
I got a D.
I got a D.
You
got a D.
We all
My
got
D.
Ds.
My D tier. I only have one on the D.
Don't say it, John. Don't say it.
Warhammer Underworlds.
No. Okay. Why?
Warhammer Underworld.
Why?
I said it.
Why?
Because I played the ball sack out of Warhammer Underworlds when it
Did
came
you?
out. I
Oh,
played
no.
tournaments. Okay. I won a tournament, a local tournament, Warhammer Underworlds. Here's why I don't like it.
Oh no.
It is so restrictive in your options to play the game. You cannot customize at all. The dudes in the box are the dudes you play. Their abilities are their abilities. You have no choices in the matter. And
Okay.
and because the game is on such a small playing area, it feels very restrictive of what my options are at any given time. I feel like I want to be able to do more. I want to be able to set up more strategy. I want to be able to have more flexibility. And now you can get that in different warbands to some degree or another. A lot of the warbands are, can I smash you before you smash me? And the games, why I ended up stop playing the games felt so samey same. If I played this and you played that, our games are going to feel the same. Maybe not always this certain person's going to win, but then it's just going to be, they're going to play out the same almost every time. And who got the crits, you know? So I love the models. The models are awesome.
They are awesome. And I want to talk more about Underworlds when it appears on my tier list. Spoilers, it's not on the D list. Although it sounds like you're coming from a place of more authority than I am. Because I've only played the demo and like it's half of a game.
It's fun because you can pick it up really quick. And you can play a fun game. And you can learn the rules very quick. Where it crumbles for me is the depth of it,
which is weird. Because I thought that was their deep game that they were going to focus on.
Well, you would think so, but they put too many rails on it for themselves, in my opinion. I'm sure others. I mean, it's got a competitive scene to it,
yeah,
which is a great thing. But it felt too railroady for me.
Okay, fair. The game in my D tier list is 40K Kill Team. So I played Shadow War Armageddon, the successor. Oh wait, no. Predecessor to Kill Team. I've played Kill Team. I'm fresh off of reading the rule book and making lists and helping others make their list. This game is inundated with insane edge case rules and just rules galore. It is frustrating to play because there's so much rule book referencing that needs to go on and so much unnecessary complication that it just makes the game not fun to play. And I love the idea of it. I love that it's like an intro to 40K and that you can like make a kill team and then that turns into a 40K army. Like I love that kind of like sales funnel idea. But yeah, like it's almost like not worth the hassle.
It does have I think their initial design of the game, there was a flaw in that they decided to take something existing, which was more or less the 40K rules, and then add stuff on top of that.
Yeah.
In order to make it still feel like 40K, but you had to still make the game work differently. It's a totally different kind of game. Wherein, in my opinion, they would have been better off going the Warcry route, where you use the models that you can use in their game, but from the base level, you set the rules up to work smoothly with still flexibility and depth for that game only. And that's where I think you get so much of these extra layers that are just kind of confusing in niche rules because they weren't built into the core of the system. So you had to have all these catalysts of different things you need to reference.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Can we just say that I think GW has way too many skirmish games?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need Underworlds and Warcry and Blood Bowl and Necromunda and Kill Team. And I'm sure there's more. Am I missing something? No, it's all of them. It's just too much. Like one fantasy one sci-fi one, and then a sport one, I feel like. Do we need both?
Sport one.
Sport one.
Sport one. I feel like there's more, too. You said Necromunda, too, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 on each side.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with their offshoot games is always the fear of ongoing support for them.
Yeah.
And that's historically been their MO, is they support something for 2 to 5 years and it just drops it. And so you get this feel bad moment of, do I actually commit? Do I give it my true heart knowing it's going to be broken?
It's like an EA game, right?
Right.
The devs can do 2 patches, then you got to fuck off to the next game.
Right. And that's, now it feels lately in the last couple of years that's not been as much of the case. They have continued support into Underworlds, and they have continued support into Warcry, Necromunda. They keep coming out with gangs. I don't know if they're actually supporting it from a rules and stuff. I'm guessing they are. I mean, they got to print books, printing papers, just printing money for them. So.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I would rather it be. And then you got to count stuff like Blackstone Fortress too, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that kind of count too?
I would consider that to be more of a board game.
They keep coming out with expansions for it.
That's true, yeah.
So I don't know. I like the one big army game, Age of Sigmar 40K, and one smaller unit game that you really can have depth into.
Yeah.
So that's just me, though. That's just me.
Yeah.
And Underworld suck balls. So keep making the models. Just don't put any more resources into that jank ass game.
Oh, I got bad news for you, bud. Dire Chasm's coming out.
Yeah,
Season 4 Underworlds.
I know.
All right.
That's all my D's. You have any more D's?
We'll head 1D.
One's enough.
One does the job. All right, on to the seeds. I got 5 games in here.
I have 5 games in here as well.
Wow. What are the odds they're all the same?
They're not all the same because Kill Team's one of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, then you ruined it.
Yeah, sorry for your dude. And one of them is the one that you haven't played before.
Okay, fine. All right,
so
you go first.
So I'll just say Kill Team is on my C. I think that Kill Team, why it's on a C and not any higher, is for the similar reasons you talked about. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that stops me from shooting the stuff and punching the stuff. But at its core, it's a game that I really like. I like that it's small, skirmish, street combat. I like that it uses 40K models. I feel some more like better use of my investment if I want to continue or whatever, or just buy a couple of cool models that I like. I like the flexibility in the game, in the different units you can use in each faction, and the different loadouts you can use in each faction, and how those affect your points. Again, we're getting to customization.
Some hey, you have options, some you don't.
Yeah, well, those are probably not very good factions.
Sisters of Battle is a name, is the one I'm thinking of right now, which is my Kill Team, and you can't use that many things in that Kill Team.
Yeah, but you can use different weapons.
Sure. There's a lot of that.
And you can give everybody a holy hand grenade. That's all you need.
Of Antioch.
Yeah, that's all you need. So yeah, it's C tier. I haven't played a ton of it, so it's subject to change. But I liked what I played. So there's a C.
Okay.
What's your first C?
Corvus Belli's Infinity. I played a demo of this twice, both times at Adepticon, and this feels like what Kill Team wants to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a skirmish game. It's sci-fi. It's you have very drilled down mechanics, such as like holding your breath and taking aim and stuff like that. And so it takes advantage of the fact that there are less models to deal with. It's C tier and not higher because it also felt a little too burdensome to play. But it was better than my Kill Team experience, so I put it higher than that. Also, I guess if in the vein of what John was talking about, I'm not super into any of the races. My favorite one is Yu Jing, and I feel like that's kind of got more U written on it than it does me.
It's more Yu Jing than Mi Jing.
Yeah.
That was the line you're supposed to say.
God damn it. So yeah, that also doesn't help that, I'm not like super into like sci-fi and like robot dudes and things like that.
Robot dudes.
Robot.
I do not have Infinity on my C tier, but I'm going to go next with A Song of Ice and Fire.
Nice. Okay.
As a C. Why it's a C for me is I'm not a big fan of games where it's a block on a movement plate to kind of rank and flank kind of games.
Yep.
But this one was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's super cool. I like that. The game system seemed really pretty darn good. And I've heard glowing reviews from others that play it. Here's why I don't like it. It's the same reason I don't like Lord of the Rings as a miniature game.
I know you're going to say.
It's like there is a defined amount of things that they can add to the world or use as factions. And that's it. And they're mostly white dudes.
Yeah. It's limited by lore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's not a bad game, but I couldn't rank it higher than a C to me.
Okay. That's fair.
And the model quality isn't exactly wonderful.
No, yeah, it's not.
It's not bad, but it's not great.
No, it's kind of like a leveled up version of Simon's PVC board games, I would call it, maybe.
Half level.
Half leveled up?
I think it's about the same as your Hate minis. Isn't that, Simon?
No, because the Hate is kind of an old one. And they did get better over time. What was the kind of like the Japanese one? Do you remember that one?
Rising Sun?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. That is a step above you're saying Hate stuff. Oh, sorry. Hate is not an old one. I'm an idiot. Hate is kind of like, yeah, this is like we've arrived.
Yeah, if that felt like that compared to like Blood Rage, there was definitely a jump up.
Sorry, yeah, I misheard you. But also, I know that the Hate models were sculpted by Patrick Mason, hand sculpted, and I believe the ones for Song of Ice and Fire are 3D sculpted, so you can definitely tell the difference.
Okay, what's your next C?
My next C is Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Jesus Christ! What are you doing to me right now?
So I've played 25 games of Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, well, it's because I stomp you every game. That doesn't mean that it's a bad game.
No, I haven't. I've played you like 2 times.
Yeah, well, I stomped you both those games.
You did. He crushes me every time.
You need to play more 1v1. We play a lot of teams.
Yeah.
And the game, to me, doesn't work very well in a team environment.
It might hurt you to know that the majority of the games I have played are been 1v1s.
Okay.
Earlier on in the game's franchise. Okay.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. To be honest, I haven't played this game much in the past, like a recent past, but I played it a lot when it first came out. And it just seems blah. It just seems a little boring. It seems like where the special sauce comes in is like in how each army interacts with the rule set instead of the rule set itself being interesting. And so the problem I have with this, and with a few other games, one of my A tier lists, there's a problem with this. I need to know exactly how your army operates, because if I fuck up once, I've lost the game and there's no point in playing.
Yeah.
So a recent example was I played a buddy. We played on Tabletop Simulator, and he was playing as Khorne, and I think Bloodbound. Sorry, and he had this thing called Blood Tide points, which I didn't fucking know about. And with these points, he was able to, I don't know if it was pile in a second time in the combat phase. I don't know if it was like 6 inches or something like that, or 3 inches if the standard one, and fight again. And because of this, he charged my meat shield of direwolves and then piled into my fucking blood knights right behind them and killed them. Game ended first turn. And I was like, fuck this. I was so mad. So yeah, it's a little frustrating when in a game like this where it's like, I need to research your army before I can even compete, or I will lose in the first 2 turns.
I think, I mean, I'm not the biggest gamer in the world, but I've played enough. I've played enough tabletop games to know that they all have that in some degree or another.
Yes, definitely.
Here's your shtick.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's actually required for a game to have depth and strategy at a higher level. If you don't have that, you can go full aggro and say, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm going to breathe down your neck and beat your face in.
Yes.
But even if you play that way, you need to know what are the things to kill first. If there's the dude that you needed to have a hero in order to use the blood tithe points, I'm going to kill your heroes first, or whatever thing.
Yeah.
Most armies have some kind of a combo thing where it's like this big unit of 40 witch elves is nasty, but they're only really a blender if they get the Cauldron of Blood buff, and then the Witched Lady buff, the Hag buff, and then they are truly a problem. So I think all games have that. The problem is that in games where you can have feel bad moments when stuff happens about a game that's in your A tier, I've had this many times. Like, I didn't know that's what that did.
Yep. Oh shit moments.
Yeah. Yep. The gotchas.
Yeah.
And so it's tough for a game to be on the balance of, as you're learning it and figuring it out and getting exciting with it, to not be subject to so many of the gotchas, and some of that's on your opponent. But also for it to have enough depth and strategy for you to want to really get good and play at a higher level.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. So to me, Age of Sigmar, you can move, you can shoot, you can cast spells, you can capture objectives. That's the game in a nutshell to me. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if you get more specific, you don't have to say much more.
Yeah.
So the rule set itself is simple. And I think that works for certain things. Like, people often refer to Age of Sigmar as a beer and pretzels game, right? You're just having fun. I know for you, it's very much not.
You're making more people mad than they're mad about Underworld.
So
right now.
seriously, so that's people call it that. I don't call it that.
I think any of the games on this list of 22 could be that game if you want it to be, and your opponent agrees. Like, hey, let's just sit down and we're going to play some
beer and pretzels,
Blood Bowl, or whatever. And any game can be that. But I think it's kind of like a social contract you make of,
sure,
like, this is what the kind of game we're going to play. I'm not going to try too hard. We're going to have fun. We're going to dink around, drink some beers.
Yes, absolutely. I think when Age of Sigmar first came out, obviously it was immediately compared to Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and because it had an easier rule set, people just assumed immediately that, oh, this is a casual game.
Sure,
and it isn't. Any game can be like crazy and like hyper competitive if you make it that way.
Yeah, and when kind of, whether it's in its defense or not, when it first launched Age of Sigmar, it was that game. There was no points for anything. There was no like, well, just pick an army you think is about the same as your opponent's army. Like, it was, they didn't put anything behind that. And then Age of Sigmar, then 1.0, and then now 2.0, they have gone further and further down the more competitive route, balanced route.
Yeah.
So I can see that. I think any good game, though, it should be able to be explained in 2 sentences, but there's a whole rabbit hole underneath it as you dig into it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's like, our armies are fighting. We're fighting over objectives. If you score more objectives, you win the game.
3 sentences.
Well, I didn't
try again.
Write it out. We fight, kill, stand on circles. 1 sentence.
So yeah, it's a C tier game for me. I love GW. I'm a GW fanboy. I'm not going to deny it. Their IP has some of my favorite fantasy versions of various types of races that I love, and that's the current fantasy game they support. So it's gonna be up there no matter what. I'm gonna play it no matter how much they hate my wood elves, my vampires. But you know, it's C. It's a C tier. Fuck you, John.
Until the vampire army comes out.
And it's A tier.
All right, my next C. Oh, I got to do Face ID in my phone. Okay.
Okay, guy.
Okay.
Fancy phone.
My C tier is Arena Rex.
Okay.
Is that also a C for you?
No. What? No.
Okay. Now, I've only played 2 like starter games of Arena Rex, and I've watched about 2 more. It's a very cool idea.
Yes.
It's very fun and like high, bloody, nasty combat with cool, unique rules to it. It just didn't do it for me a whole lot. Like, I didn't see it being a whole lot. It was very fun to play a couple times. I was like, oh, it was cool. I'd play it again. I don't have any desire to dig deeper into it than that for me. Okay. It was just, there wasn't enough to the game to really got me super excited. Yeah. You know, and I like the idea of this kind of mythos of Greek mythology meets kind of traditional arena combat.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Kind of a divisive thing, kind of like Batman. If you're into Greco-Roman like history, like you're definitely going to be more interested in this than like something more generic.
The models are cool.
They are very cool. Yeah, I've painted one or two. Yeah,
I have a couple of the models I haven't painted yet, but I've got a dude. He's riding on a giant bull, and he's just like he's got a mask on with a big spear, and he's on the back of this bull, which is way too big.
I've seen that.
So I want to paint him someday too. Quality of their models are awesome. You only need a few models to play. It's awesome.
Not a skirmish game. Yeah.
But it just didn't do enough to me. The C tier is like it's solid.
Yeah,
but it doesn't do it for me a whole lot more than that.
C tier, maybe like I'm not gonna seek this out, but if someone wants to play it, like I'll play it with them. Kind of maybe that's a metric. Okay, all right. Moving on with the C tier, I have Malifaux 3rd Edition.
I never played Malifaux, so we don't have any copies yet. We don't have any doubles.
This is really strange.
This is gonna go poorly.
No, this is going great actually.
Okay. Malifaux 3rd Edition. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So, actually, you know what? Just nix the 3rd edition. Just Malifaux. I don't know if I've played 3rd edition. Okay. I played 2 demos and a full game of Malifaux, and I respect the hell out of the fact that they don't really copy any IP, and they kind of just make up all of these kind of strange races to be involved. Like zombies obviously are like a thing that have existed already.
Yeah.
But a lot of other things aren't like direct copies. There's no elves, there's no vampires, there's nothing like that. It's like all these unique things. So I like that. I respect that a lot. Also, I think, I don't know, is this the only game on the list that doesn't use dice?
I didn't even know it didn't use dice.
So here's an interesting thing about Malifaux that I didn't know before playing the demo. There are no dice to roll to determine what happens. What you do is you draw a card out of a deck.
Sure. It's a different kind of random.
It's a different kind of random, yeah. So there are like interactions you can do with the deck to like reorder it and see what the next result is and things like that.
Yeah.
And so when I played it, it was just like really fresh. It was like, okay, wow, this is so different than what I'm used to with dice and things, even though it might not actually be that different from like a stats point of view. So I really like that. So I like how just different they're trying to be, and I think they're successful at it. But I feel like that success hasn't translated to like an actual successful franchise.
Sure. The models are great.
There are some great models. Yeah, there are some that I just don't really care for.
Yeah, that's the aesthetic. So they have this kind of this dark horror, slightly Cthulhu, kind of modern, but not really fantasy.
Maybe like 1950s, kind of like cowboy era-ish, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very cool. And that idea is a really, really cool one. Actually, a game that I am balls deep in right now is Gloomhaven, which is basically a box game, RPG in a box. And it's an amazing game. It doesn't use dice either. Your character has a character deck that you pull. Like when I attack you, I pull off, and it might be a +1 modifier, or it might be a -2, whatever. But it adds a different level of customization to how you build your character, because as you level up in that game, and probably as you build your team, you can have certain cards in your deck. You can remove this one and add this one and stuff like that. So it's another level of customization of your army or your warband or whatever. I think that's really cool. It's like, as opposed to just having a static differentiator of +1 to hit or roll 5 dice instead of 4 dice. There's not a +1 to hit plus you immobilize the target or whatever. Like you can add another level to it that way. So
yeah,
with the cards, that's cool. I didn't know that game had that, and that's I love that there is a tabletop war game that uses that kind of system.
Yeah,
very cool. That's your next C. Oh, jeez. My next C is Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl is, I've only played one game of Blood Bowl, and I've watched a couple of games of Blood Bowl with them talking through the rules while they're playing with me to help me learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's fast. It's not super complex. There is some level of strategy to it. But having played that and playing Guild Ball, they're kind of leaning into what they want to do. Guild Ball wants to be very strategic with a ton of things and options into it. And it does have strategy, and there is kind of how you want to approach the game based on your team and everything. And it's a fun game, but it's not something that I was jumping out to join. Now there are some cool new teams. That kind of got me a little bit antsy in the pantsy.
Like what?
Like the little halflings. I just want to be the little halfling with the pot on their head, just rolling around, kicking
like
people in the shins.
Yeah, dude. I like the Nagaroth Nightmares, something like that. The Dark Elf team.
Yeah, they're pretty
sick.
cool too.
Yeah.
I was just bummed they haven't released a vampire one. They released an undead one, and it was all
there's no vampires.
skeletons and zombies.
Yeah, I didn't get that. No, not even a necromancer or anything like that.
I know.
It's weird.
Just bring your dead teammates back to life, man.
That'd be sick.
It's simple.
It works on a grid, right? Blood Bowl. Like you're not
Yes.
measuring.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But it's a much bigger grid than Underworlds.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
Okay. That's all I got to say about that. What's your next C?
Do you have more C tiers ones?
I have one more.
Okay. I put this in here, and I don't even know if this counts. I put Warcry in here. I've actually never played it, but I witnessed an entire game while you guys were playing it, and I was just sitting here and painting. I heard everything. I understand how the game works.
You heard me screaming. I was setting up strategy 3 turns in advance. Ended up not paying off because Vince has got a big fucking brain and he saw it coming. God damn it, Vince.
You know, I probably shouldn't rate this because I haven't actually played it myself, but it just didn't seem like it was anything too special and too new. Here's the thing. I feel like GW games are an excuse to buy models, and I think they know that, and I feel like they don't really put a ton of innovation into their rule sets. You roll dice to get results to kill people. Like that's what it is. Which I guess you could probably say that about every single game. So that's not necessarily fair, but that's just the impression I got from the game. It was like, yeah, this is what they would make. This is like a small version of Age of Sigmar. Also, the fact that they started out with exclusively chaos was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah. And then they opened it up to basically every faction
Yes.
can have a game now, or a team now, which is the way it needs to be.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
I can't knock them for that, but yeah.
My hot take on this is the expectation that leads to profit, that bar is so much lower for them compared to every other manufacturer on this list.
Yeah, you're definitely right.
If Corvus Belli doesn't have an amazing game system with innovative things that really excite you, they're not going to sell their product.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that there wasn't a point in time where GW had to do that as well to boost their the audience and the number of people playing and all that. Like there was that. It just feels like they have not only kind of plateaued, but it's kind of a slowly going downhill. I think that they have put more emphasis in it because of these other games that are kind of coming up on their heels lately. Things like Star Wars Legion, I think, is a big one.
Yeah.
And it's not that they're not doing anything. I just don't think that they have to innovate, and so they don't.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I know you probably have Warcry higher on your list, so I don't want you to say too much about it until we get to that. But that was just my hot. So again, I was just observing. I wasn't playing the game, and that's what I observed. So take it with a grain of salt. That's me though for that one.
I got one more, and that would be Star Wars Legion. When that came out, I played some test games at our local game store. They got the starter box in. It's good. It feels very similar to Warhammer 40K in the base level of the rules and kind of how it works. Similar to Song of Ice and Fire, it's restricted by the IP about what you can do, about units in the game, about everything is either Rebel or Alliance or whatever it's called. Is that what the two factions are?
Yeah. Sorry, you have the Rebels and the Empire.
Empire. Alliance.
Yikes, bro. Yikes.
What is a Star War?
So the thing about that being limited lore is you have the expanded universe.
True.
I don't know if Legion and like FFG want to use that as inspiration, but I feel like that's like an infinite well of content.
They've got a lot higher ceiling than
like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I was going to call it Guild of Thrones.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Guild of Thrones. Guild of Thrones and the Imperial Empire Assault Alliance. I didn't. Models are solid. They just don't like. I like Star Wars, but I like 4, 5, and 6. I don't like any other Star Wars.
You know, like Rogue One.
I've watched all the movies. I haven't watched Mandalorian yet, which I should. But episodes 1, 2, and 3 are obviously hot garbo.
Parts of them are okay. That's fine. Parts of them are okay. like 10% of a movie can be good.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple of them multiple times. They just, I don't know. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a massive Star Wars fan. So
I get it. Yeah, I'm the same.
I'd rather be playing some sweet ass space barbarians with dreadlocks and giant axes, riding on sleighs, killing shit, than a fucking dude in white armor, and just like all the other dudes in white armor.
Oh, you just compared like the coolest guy in 40K to the lamest fucking soldier.
Well, that's
in
what
Star
I get
Wars.
to do.
You could have talked about Darth Vader.
Darth Vader is just like a slightly bigger helmet than the other stormtroopers that are in black armor.
Have you seen the ending of Rogue One?
Yeah.
How can you watch that and tell me that Darth Vader is anything close to being a stormtrooper?
I mean, he looks like them, is what I'm saying.
Okay, sure. It's okay.
In terms of a model look at the table, I don't look at Darth Vader 4 feet away at the table and have the same reaction as I do, Gaz Thraka.
Okay.
It's like, holy shit, look at that orc. And it's like, oh, it's another black dude with the red saber. Okay.
All right, fair enough.
That's just it. I'm about aesthetics. It's cool. If I could play a pure Ewok army, just like the halflings, and I could play them in the same game, it's like I'm proxying my halflings Ewoks.
Not even buying the Legion models.
No, the other way around. I'd buy the Legion Ewoks and use them in Blood Bowl as halflings.
Okay.
That would be an amazing team.
Yeah.
Okay.
You listening, FFG? Let's see that Ewok army. You got a
Come
customer, at least one.
Just one. That's all you need is one. All right, your final C tier.
40K.
I don't know.
I mean, okay. Caveat. We love caveats here. I played 40K when I was a 12-year-old. And I played another one when I was a 22-year-old. I'm 28 now. I played another game of 40K. And I don't know. It's a big scary system, and I prefer fantasy to sci-fi, so I've always kind of not been super into 40K for that reason. And the 40K rule set at the time when I was playing it was it was a version of Warhammer Fantasy Battle on circle bases where everything was a skirmishing unit and there were no rank and flank. A lot of emphasis on shooting, not so much on combat. Combat was for specialty purposes, if you need a scalpel unit to go and extract something or kill something fast. Mostly shooting, mostly vehicles. And I don't know, it just wasn't. I wasn't super into it. It's kind of meh.
Yeah, to me, the biggest thing with 40K is how much the game has changed over the years with their rule advancements. Yeah. And I have not played, is it 9th? Are they in 9th now?
I believe so.
Okay. I have not played 9th yet, but what I've looked into it and the battle reports I've watched, it excites me more. I played solely in 8th. So
yeah.
Mine is not on C tier, but I'll tell you why shortly. Or maybe we can go up to B tier now, and I can start with 40K.
Yeah, that was my last C one.
C, and I'm all at a C. You're all at a C.
One thing about 40K and Age of Sigmar that I was watching Magikarp Used Fly's video about 40K, and he likened making a list for an army to drafting a comp in a MOBA, and that fucking blew my mind. I was like, holy fuck, you're so right. I really don't think enough about the list building stage. It's an excuse to get into the game, and so I treat it like that. But I feel like if I treated it more like MOBA drafting, for 40K and AOS, I think I would enjoy it more, enjoy the game more too. Anyways.
Yeah, but that's a really good point. And a lot of the people with both Age of Sigmar and 40K, that list building step is one of the funnest steps.
Yeah, like you're with your buddies, you're fucking
You're like
Warhammer crafting.
Yeah, and it's not just what my army can do well, it's what's popular in the meta right now.
Yeah.
What's really strong? How do I match up against that? What are the things that I need to do that will deal with that? If I've got a great matchup with these armies over here, what can I still keep as my core to continue that dominance on the table? And then I've got these X number of points that I'm focused. Like, that's a really fun part of it. I spend a lot of time, especially now, focusing on what kind of list do I want to build that's the most well-rounded or all-comers list. That's the kind of thing I like to do is all-comers list. I can just use this. But when you go into a tournament, your list building approach is probably different. So that's a really cool part of it. And the game, because the game is so robust in the amount of armies and most of them having a good amount of units, you have that list building side of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Especially in 40K, even more so than Age of Sigmar because of the further breakdown in list building regarding weapon selection.
Yeah.
Age of Sigmar doesn't have a points associated with weapons.
Yeah.
40K does.
Yeah.
So I have 40K in my B tier.
B tier.
B tier because, look, the sheer size of it, and when I say size, I mean number of factions, number of models, number of options. I love options, and this game's got options. If there's a certain kind of an army or aesthetic that's sci-fi related, you probably can find an army in this game that you'd like to play.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. Like I said, I played a fair number. I was in a slow grow league in 8th edition where we went, each month you had to play 2 games and you had to have X number of points painted at the end of the month. So it was like over 4 months or 6 months, I think, you'd have a full 2K army painted and played. And it was fun. I learned a lot about my army and what it did well. And then I ended up just building and painting more tanks because they did well. It's not the funner, cooler looking list, but I've got a bunch of tanks and shoot you off the board. And I got flamers and you try to charge me and you just get flamed
Overwatched
alive.
to death, yeah.
Yeah. But the new rules in 9th, it's even more exciting for me. And so I still have my Death Guard army, just the stuff I painted. I sold off everything that was still in boxes that I didn't have built and painted yet, which I'm glad that I did that because I didn't see myself playing again. And if I do, maybe I'll play a different army. But I think it's cool. It's a big game. It's not an A-tier game. And what drops it from that for me is just, 1, I don't have enough experience for me to confidently say that. And 2, I still don't feel like they have got a handle on the balance ballet, right? Where it's a little bit more of a rocky ship ride than my A-tier game. We don't have an S tier, by the way.
No, I removed that shit. It was in there by default, and I was like,
S tier.
I was like, who the fuck does S tier? Like, because I went to grade school, and in grade school I had like S and O and like that shit. And then when I like went into high school, and then it was just A, B, C, D, F. I don't know. I would skip E.
Well,
I would skip E.
I don't know because it's a vowel, but A is a vowel.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You said something about 40K. Oh, did you sell Morty?
Yeah, I sold him.
Morty.
I had Mordecai. No, that's not. But yeah, I had him still new in the box, and I actually was gonna this is around the time where I was like, I'm gonna paint him up for competition, and then a young lad by the name of Richard Gray started showing preview pics of his Morty wings. And I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay.
What's your first B tier?
First B tier is Warhammer Underworlds, which you didn't like. Okay, I like this. I got some buddies coming over this weekend, and we all picked out a little squad, and we all bought one. I picked, you know what? I bought the box set, Beastgrave.
Beastgrave.
And you might know that I'm not a fan of the whatever the fuck is in there. Satyrs. They're satyrs. For a couple reasons. And I looked at the models themselves, and I was like, fuck. These look pretty nice. I think the paint job makes them look more like cavemen and women than the sculpt does itself.
Okay.
So I was pretty happy with that. I don't get why, like, if this is a Wood Elf replacement, why are they becoming more like Beastmen when Beastmen's like their main enemy? Okay, that is off topic, ranting. Do you feel me on that?
Yeah, sometimes you make sweet love to the things you hate the most.
Okay, fine.
That's what they did.
We don't need to do that. Talk about that anymore. Okay, I like how this game combines elements of board games and card games that I like into one thing. Mm-hmm. And I've only played 2 demos of it, so I'm not as deep as you are. But for my friends who've never played a miniature war game ever, like there's a lot of elements in here that they are familiar with in board games that I think they're going to really get excited about, like deck building, and that's it. Just deck building. No, but yeah, so that's what I liked about it. It was like a board gamified tabletop war game.
Make sure you pull up the banned list of cards as you guys are building your stuff, because there are cards you just can't use. I mean, you could use them for fun, but they're so broken in the game.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's just like Magic the Gathering banned list.
Okay.
Because the cards are too strong. Because there are a number of cards that are just like, you can do what now? That's not cool.
Yeah, so here's what I was going to do. Now we're a little off topic, but you can advise me. Be my Underworld Sherpa. My plan was just to use the default, whatever the default is. Is that stupid? So I have one Mogwith's Blade Coven. My friend's playing that. I'm playing Skaith's Wild Hunt, Skaith's like Hunter, something like that. And then other buddy's playing Molog's Mob, the troll mushroom, sentient mushroom things.
See. Yeah, just use the standard deck that it comes in there. If you all do that, that's your best chance to just have fun and whatever. Now, it could be that one of their standard decks has a card that is brutal, extremely brutal. But you could maybe like, if you play a game and you felt that happened, then pull up the list and say, is that a card that is currently banned or something?
Where is that kept? That list.
It would be this all their like rules updates on Games Workshop site for all the different games.
Okay.
You just go down to Underworlds and check the latest stuff.
Okay. I love how they ban their own cards.
Yeah.
As if like they couldn't just like balance them.
See, so oftentimes it's with other factors involved of they didn't test it with also bringing in this card and this card
also the new
from
shit
other
as well.
Stuff. Yeah. The more cards are in the pool for you have to access, the more variables are in there. They should still catch most of it, but there's always going to be a few that slip through the cracks.
Gotcha.
I think it's a great game for that kind of situation. Okay. Nobody's too involved.
Yeah.
You don't have to learn a bunch of really complex rules. We know how moving thingies on a board works.
Exactly.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And you're going to paint them all.
I want to. There's only 3 models, right? There's the Centaur and the 2 Satyrs. Or is there more?
I don't know. I don't have that box.
Okay.
Okay. That was your B tier.
Yep.
What's the next one on my B tier?
You tell me.
I had Infinity.
Your list.
I had Infinity on my B tier, and
Okay.
I've only played 2 games of Infinity, and their game system is so cool. It does a bunch of dynamic things in a way that's not super complex and super hard to learn, but it feels like there's a bunch of options in any given scenario. Mm-hmm. I like the situation of the kind of a sci-fi cyberpunk style of aesthetic to it.
Yeah, that's good. Cyberpunk. That's how I describe it.
And the game is very tight in its rule system. There's a lot of, it feels like any change you make in the makeup of your team has a big impact in how they not only work together, but how they choose to approach a match. It feels more impactful in that decision making than any other skirmish game that I played. That feels really cool. What keeps it at a B for me and not higher is I feel like a lot of the factions look the same to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not enough diversity in the army options. And that's really the biggest thing. And it's around here. I don't really know anybody that plays it.
Yeah.
If somebody did, and I've looked at purchasing a war band or whatever they call them, a squad for them just to paint up and have, so then I would be able to play. So that's the only thing that's keeping it at B. But solid B for me.
Okay. Cool.
Your next B.
My next B. I put in Middle Earth strategy battle game. So my whole youth career of miniature wargaming was playing the Lord of the Rings strategy battle game, which I don't actually know if it's any different than the Middle Earth one. I meant to put in the Lord of the Rings one, but so basically it's in Lord of the Rings mythos, and it's a single unit activation game. And I'm a fan of games like that as opposed to moving whole squads and stuff like that, because it feels more interactive and more
the I go, you go system.
I can't remember if it's back and forth. I believe it is. What would the point be in single activation if you were just activating one dude at a time? That'd be stupid. Maybe it's back and forth. But it's single. It feels more drilled down. I love Lord of the Rings lore. I remember I was doing that painting marathon, and I watched the entire trilogy, and I was reminded of how much I love this universe. And I also I get the whole thing of Tolkien's not around to write any more shit for us to make models out of, so how do we do this? And so they just keep remaking models. So like like Eomer might get a new model and stuff like that. But yeah, I just remember really enjoying playing Lord of the Rings as a young child. Yeah, I don't have much to say about that. Maybe this is a little bit of the rose-tinted glasses coming on right now.
Yeah. No, and it can be higher on your list for any number of reasons.
Yeah, nostalgia.
It's not just strictly like this game for all of us is a better game to play than this game.
Well, that's what you said in the beginning.
Yes, I did.
Oh.
I did.
Okay.
Because my list is right. I don't even know why you're even reading your list.
Only one list needs to happen.
My next B tier would be Guild Ball.
Fair. I like it there.
I think it's such a good game, and it makes my brain hurt while playing it in both the best and worst ways.
Yes.
There's so many variables in that game that you have to stay on top of. Like, as I was watching Queen's Gambit. Have you watched Queen's Gambit yet?
I've seen the first episode.
Okay. As I was watching Queen's Gambit, I would just sit and giggle to myself because I'd picture her playing Guild Ball instead of having a chess board, because it totally is like that. I mean, it's not totally like chess, but that you have to have thought through 5+ steps in advance and be able to predict not only that, but because it's an alternating activation, what are their 5 steps going to look like? So where you are on step 5 puts you right next to where they moved at step 2. Like, there's so much complexity and thinking through. It's not just knowing what their army can do or what their squad can do, but actively predicting far enough in advance to capitalize on it.
Yeah. I'm so wrecked right now.
And the fact that I had not played enough games of it, I got to a point where I could recognize what I was supposed to be looking for, but not experienced enough to actually be able to do it consistently.
Yeah.
And that was a frustrating endeavor for me.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of thing...
Oh, man, yeah.
It's the kind of thing that a good game, if you can get through that and understand that that's a cool part of the game, that is rewarding all the more when you can start to see that play out on the table later on in your experience. But what's keeping it from an A tier for me? Well, it's a dead game.
A number of reasons, yeah.
It's a dead game because apparently we're all too competitive. Everyone that played it was too competitive, so they had to shut the game down, and we didn't allow new people to play.
Yep.
We smashed their models as they purchased them, so they
Yes.
couldn't play the game.
Burned our credit cards.
If you don't know what we're talking about, this was the PR statement released by the makers of the game.
They said this exactly.
Yes.
Word for word.
Yeah, we're reading it. That's what they said. And so I like the diversity and the guilds. I like the lore of this game.
Really? The
so
lore?
much. I love it's totally Gangs of New York style. Like they're the different guilds of the city. It's like we're the fishermen, and it's kind of over the top. We all like look like fishermen in a certain aesthetic, but it's super cool. And I know that there's a deep lore to it of stories and stuff that I haven't gotten into, but just the way the lore affects the aesthetic, the art style. I really like the art style. The models are above average.
Yeah. They're not amazing. There's not one guild that I'm like, holy fuck, I need that.
Right.
Like Morticians is the closest thing because they're evil dudes.
Yeah,
But,
and that would have been 100% mine, but you started playing before me and you had them already, so I wasn't gonna pick them. But yeah, I like them. I like that. The thing is that they're limited by is they're trying to keep it a little bit more realistic. So you can't have dudes with like dual wielding axes that are like in real life they'd be like 80 pounds each, and it's just like a dude holding. Like they try to keep it somewhat minimalized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is nothing wrong with that too, but it doesn't have this crap at a 5-foot view. So yeah, that's why it's a B to me.
All right.
What's your next B?
My next B is Arena Rex. Arena Rex is actually there's a little bit of a controversy around Arena Rex and Guild Ball. There have been claims that Guild Ball has stolen a lot of the rule set from Arena Rex to make Guild Ball. So for the same reasons that I like Guild Ball, I also like Arena Rex because it has a similar mechanic to how you roll successes and use them to generate results and things like that. So I remember being on an airplane and reading the Arena Rex rule set. I don't know why where I am matters at all, but I read it one time.
Me being on the airplane thoroughly affected my... That's the end of my sentence.
Oh, okay. I was like, no. I remember just reading it and being like, this is like a totally different way to play a miniature war game. That's just different and unique to me. And that was one of the many reasons that Guild Ball excited me, was because it just was like a fresh new rule set. And I had a plan to play it with a buddy, but we never ended up playing it. But that's why I read the rule set and was just like, this is awesome. And I demoed it at Adepticon and had similar fun. They also had that sick like Gladiator Coliseum that you get to play the demos in it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, so at our local store, when Arena Rex came out, they had the demo set there, and my buddy, Dustin, this was earlier in the days of 3D printing, like not like now everyone had it, but he 3D printed and painted for them the full arena.
Really?
So we had that in our store.
Wow.
And they still have it there, I'm sure. But yeah, it's so much cooler when you have that.
I love that. Okay, cool.
All right, so my last B would be... See what I did there? Warcry. Okay, now, admittedly, I've only played one game of Warcry, but...
It was a game I watched.
It was a game you watched. But it was enough to entice me to buy the whole starter box set.
Yeah, you just went in. I saw that.
I'm going to buy this. The game is so fun. If you know Age of Sigmar, you'll have an in to it. But unlike Kill Team, it doesn't use the Age of Sigmar rules as a base. It just uses the models, and you can use a variety of different models for your faction in the game, and you have so many points. They each cost so many points. Blah blah blah. Why I like it? It's fast. It's alternating activations.
Nice.
It's cool use of dice in strategy without being too complex. I wish it was. It's not the perfect Age of Sigmar skirmish game to me. It's not, but it's a lot closer than any other ones I've played in terms of fantasy skirmish games as well, not just GW games. There's strategy involved in any game that I think that has the alternating activation. There's an innate higher amount of strategy because you don't just get to see all what they do before you do all what you do.
Yeah.
Like you have to understand why are they going over there, but if you go over there, then I go over here to fight them. But then they've got another guy next to it, then I'm just going to get my guy killed. Like, you have an extra layer of complexity. The uniqueness of the different war bands comes from their special powers based on, at the start of the round, you roll a bunch of dice in doubles and triples. You can spend those in the match for a variety of uses. So understanding what doubles and triples they have, what abilities that they have, it's enough of a variety to... have uniqueness, but it's not so much that I can't look over at what your dice are and get a good idea of what I think you might be trying. So it's a nice little balance there. It's quick to learn. It's quick to play. Yeah, that's it. It's
cool.
A solid B for me.
All right. Solid B for me is Song of Ice and Fire. I I'm a fan of rank and flank games, as John described it earlier. So I like this one. I also like how they try to be inspired by the story itself, and you have the combat element, but also you have the political element.
That is cool. That is very cool.
Yeah, and the political element influences the larger game going on. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a cool thing I didn't even think about. So that was cool. Also, maybe I just like it because I won the game that I played. I think I was playing against Jake or something, and I was playing as Night's Watch. And I like some super fucking OP like unit, and he was like, it does what? I'm just like fucking full steam ahead, kill everything.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And then like it was funny because the Simon guy was there, and he's like, yeah, that was a pretty good move.
I think I had Jon Snow and his wolf or something like that.
Yes, you did.
They were just tearing it up. It was great. But like facing matters, and it's everything about rank and flank is in that game. It's great.
Yeah, and like the leader or named dude that's in with the other dudes that's in your stack. Having Jon Snow in there gave a different thing.
Oh yeah,
to the other dudes and made them more powerful in the charge or whatever. Like it was really cool. I had forgotten about the political side though, but that's another level of strategy in the game that you're not just like, if I play the Targaryens, I have to be Jaime Lannister. You don't have to be.
Right.
You know, there's a bunch of different choices, and they all based on how you want to build your army and how you want to, approach the game.
Yes.
You can choose that too. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay, now the A tier.
That's your last. That's your last B. We have the same amount of Bs. You got 2 A's, so I'm gonna let you get your first A out of the way.
I don't know which one to do first.
I know what they're both gonna be, and one of them will make my eyes roll so hard. So just rip off the Band-Aid, please.
Okay, A tier, Warhammer Fantasy Battle. You almost died. Your heart stopped. Okay. Obviously, rose-tinted glasses fully on right now. But let's be objective here. Every single time I played Fantasy Battle, it was an epic fucking tale. Okay? It was like a 5-hour investment. All right? I had these huge units on a table, all in blocks, doing battle in the middle of the board in this glorious battle line. You have these crazy spells going off, ripping apart entire units. You have units fleeing and trampled underfoot. Everything about it screamed fucking epic.
Yeah.
And my experiences mirrored that. And I was a youngster while playing. I played with mostly older people because I think young people didn't really play fantasy because I was cool. I was a cool kid. I was a cool kid. Not going to lie, I was more attracted to it because it was fantasy, but also because it was more complex. And I was like, I want to be cool and different. So I played that instead of 40K when I was young. I lost 90% of my games.
They didn't care about curb stomping kids.
No, they fucking didn't. But I still wanted to play.
That's a good sign.
So there must have been something about it that kept bringing me back. I had multiple armies. I did Middenheim. I did vampire counts. I did wood elves. I did high elves. And yeah, it was an epic tale. And part of also the enjoyment was the list building. So in fantasy, you had several types of items, arcane items, weapons, armors, talisman, banners. Every army had those 5 categories. And every hero could do 50 points of items, and every lord could do 100 points of items. And it was super fun to have all of these characters running around with different kits. And wood elves had these things called kindreds. You could be different kindreds. And so I had an altar kindred highborn with the Bow of Lorn and Arcane Bodkins. And what that meant was this guy could move 9 inches or march 18 inches a turn, use all of his attacks with his bow. Normally you can only use 1 attack with your bow. All of his attacks go to bow, and they ignore armor saves. So he's a fucking machine gun. Okay, he's running around ripping shit up.
Wow.
It's amazing. Still strength 3 bow, so he still was wounding on shitty values, but anyways, doesn't matter. So that list building was a lot of fun. You know, you could get your full, you pay for your full command, your musician, your banner, your unit champion. You can pay for upgrades, so like, you know, swords and spears and stuff like that. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was just like every time it was so epic.
You know that 5-hour game could have been played in 3 hours if it had a game system that wasn't a hot mess.
Yeah, but I didn't want it to. Because I was at the mall. So here's how it worked. Me and my buddy, Zach Hudson. Shout out to you, Zach, if you're watching this video. I haven't talked to you in fucking 10 years or more. His mom or my mom would drop us off at Gurney Mills, the mall. And then the other mom would pick us up. And we'd stay there.
This is a system.
Yeah. We stayed there from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Wow.
We went to the food court. We got some Chinese food.
Went to Hot Topic.
Went to Hot Topic. Check out the albums and T-shirts. And we played at least one game of fantasy, and then just shot the shit in the store. Painted, talked about it, and it was so much fucking fun. I really missed that. That was like definitely a simpler time. A lot of fun though. But yeah, so I didn't care if the game took 12 hours. I was there for 12 hours. Every fucking Saturday, dude.
Yeah, and I think in this situation, it being a dead game kind of works in your favor because you can't like adjust those memories.
You're right. I can't play it and hate it.
Yeah, right. And so it can certainly hold that point in your list with the giant asterisk of because you can't play it anymore. I mean, you certainly can. You can play any game.
Yeah.
Whatever. So,
but yeah, needless to say, I am very excited for whatever the fuck they're doing with what do they call it? Old World?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you say that now just because there's no information on what that means. So your attitude towards this can only go down because it's already like you're picturing 12-year-old Scott eating Sbarro pizza.
Oh man, that pizza sucks, dude.
And playing his game at the Games Workshop store. Mm-hmm. So it can only go down from here.
Yeah, that's right.
But
no, I'm not.
Or maybe not. Maybe it will be an updated, awesomer version of that game.
That's what I want. I want the Sisters of Battle makeover for fantasy. Not changing too much, but freshening it up, updating it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. All right. I thoroughly think that they're not going to make a game that would be a direct competitor for their other fantasy game. So,
but isn't that what fucking 40K and 30K are? It's the same game, but just with different factions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Same game, not really the same game, but close.
Pretty dang close.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe it'll be just different enough. Maybe if they go back to the rank and file on the big plate and you have them all out there, that will feel like a different enough game.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It doesn't matter what we say.
They're going to do whatever they want to do.
My only A tier is Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Why is it my only A tier? Because
it's the game you played the most.
It's the game I play the most. It's the game I think about playing when I want to think about playing a war game.
Sure.
It's the game that I spend the most time hobbying around. It's the game that is got a buttload of cool factions in a fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if the game is pretty good and it has all those other check boxes, it's an A for me.
It's winning, yeah.
It's winning.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's it. Is it a perfect game? No. But I've been playing it just long enough to know how far it's come in only a matter of a couple of years. So it is going in the right direction. It is a better rule set and a more balanced game than 40K. And
shots fired.
Yeah. And they continue to bring out awesome new factions, awesome new models. The way that they're approaching their new book system, like their first book, Marathi, I think is really smart.
What is that? How's that work?
So they're going to release a book roughly every quarter, and it has some story stuff, but then it also...
yeah, you fucking hate lore.
Right. But then it's got one or two armies that are the main focus, and then 2 to 3 armies that are a minor focus. And there's new rules for all of those armies in one book. And so it can introduce new models, although you don't need a book to introduce new models, new rules. It updates the rules. It helps balance the rules. It brings out new battalion options. It brings out new sub-faction options. It brings out, new artifacts and all that kind of stuff, new command abilities and whatever. So it's It's encompassing tweaks. It encompassing some fixes. It's encompassing this unit cannot be just fixed with points. They rewrite the war scroll. It doesn't work the same way anymore. And so they're trying to bring stuff up. It's like, we're not seeing that anybody uses this unit when they play this army. Why? Oftentimes it's not just as simple as it's too expensive. Sometimes it's just a bad, what it is just not good for what it's meant to do in the army. So it allows them to keep the game balanced and bring people closer together in their army and give more robust options within a given army. Even if your army was good, maybe it was like Osiark Bone Reapers, they have one list that's really good, and the other ones basically do the same thing that list does, but just not as well. So how do we give you other options so your army can be played in different ways? So they're going to release one of those books about every 3 or 4 months instead of just repeating the new Battle Tome cycle. Okay. And so they will still re-release Battle Tomes, it sounds like, but just it's not going to be the system they did before. It's like they crank out 2 Battle Tomes every 2 months that are updating the rules and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Are they still doing General's Handbook?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, the General's Handbook is an annual thing where that's where they do their widespread point changes and associated with that. But then they bring the new battle plans for the year.
Man.
And that kind of stuff.
So many moving parts. And new Battle Tomes?
Yeah. I mean, new Battle Tomes will happen as needed kind of at this point because most armies are all up to date with their Battle Tomes. If they're a living army that still exists.
Wanderers?
And aren't little wood elves.
Okay.
Or Tomb Kings.
Arbortonia. Okay.
That's my A tier.
A tier. Okay.
One and only.
The last A tier for me is Guild Ball. Guild Ball, I played Guild Ball for the first time and I was like, holy shit, this is a game that stands by itself and is a skirmish game. Whereas before, my previous experience was with Games Workshop. Mm-hmm. These are like, again, I said earlier, they're excuses to buy models. I don't really care for any of the models in Guild Ball, and I see myself as more of a painter before a player, and I still have the whole fucking Mortician team painted. Mm-hmm. So that, to me, that says something about how much I enjoy the game. And let me explain why.
Oh, do tell me.
Here we go. So yeah, the game... So earlier I described Age of Sigmar as being less rules focused and more about how the interesting factor is and how the armies interact with the rule set. I think in Guild Ball, not only are the interesting factions different and unique in how they operate, and you need to know how your opponents operate as well, which is part of what.
Oh yeah.
Which is yeah, that's hard, but also the rule set is interesting and how you interact with it. I love how you roll successes and then with those successes pick results on your character card. I love that. I love how you assign influence, which is your currency in the game, indicates to your opponent what your battle plan might be, and then they react to that, and then you play, they play, and it is so chess-like. It's amazing. Everything in that game implies something about what your strategy is going to be, either short-term or long-term. Mm-hmm. And it's information that your opponent can mine to then change his battle plan, his or her battle plan. And I fucking love that. It's not like... It's like the creators intended for there to be strategy in every single step, and it's obvious. With Age of Sigmar, there are all these very interesting interactions and like ways you can position your models that aren't evident at face value. And it's like, I wouldn't have considered that to be an element of strategy until someone explained it to me. Fair play. In Guild Ball, it's like, it's obvious to you. You just don't know how to take advantage of it yet. So it's like, you stare at this mass of like, it's not a ton of rules. It is, I would say it's probably a confusing rule set. Would you call it confusing? Or just big?
Yeah, I would call it dense.
Dense.
Yeah. It's not that it's a thick book or it's a ton of rules, but there's so much in there.
Yeah.
And there's so much to be interpreted or for you to really learn about. It's like, I can read this paragraph And there's a lot of really important stuff in that paragraph. But for me to actually exercise what I learned and implement it,
Yes.
that's what I mean by dense.
Yes.
There's a lot in there.
Yes, I agree. So it's like, holy cow, I can see all these things that have value. I don't know how to take advantage of them yet. And then it's the first game that I know of that has incorporated a draft into the game. So the way the game works is you start with 10 players in a roster, and then you and your opponent go back and forth drafting a 6-player team, starting with captains, then mascots, then squaddies. And like that takes an element of the MOBA genre that I love and puts it into a game itself. And then on top of that, you have this amazing rule set that has all this incredible depth to explore. And then on top of that, you need to know what your opponent wants to do so that you can stop them from doing that.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but I fucking love it so much.
The drafting thing is why that's even more of a really, really cool aspect of that game is that unlike basically every other game we're talking about here, there's every single squaddy choice is a 100% unique, plays solely only like themselves character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't just have, even if I've got 3 Space Marines and they could have different guns and, different hand weapons and whatever, they're still
Same stat line.
they're just them. And it's not just that their stat lines are different for each of these squaddies, like how they play the game, what they're good at, what their role is on your team.
Oh, man.
And why you drafted them because of they play a very certain role very well.
Yes!
Because the other guy drafted his dude before it, and this is my counter. This is how I deal with that.
It's like a MOBA.
It is. It is. If that game would have been set like the rules are the exact same, but instead of it being soccer, what if it was just fantasy battles over the puck of light or something like this? And if it wasn't soccer and it was that exact same game, but just reskinned in a different way, that game could have been so freaking massive, and it should have been massive.
Yes. Yes.
The only reason I played it was because you talked it up so much. And I saw it. I looked at the rules. And I looked at the models and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's cool. I could give 2 shits less about soccer.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
But the fact that there's 2 games being played at the same time of that game,
Yeah.
it is playing a game of soccer and or murdering your opponents.
Yes.
Which game or which combination of the games is your team playing?
Because both get you points.
Yes.
Yeah, and like scoring is definitely viable. It might sit like when I was playing at first, I was like, oh, scoring's kind of difficult. Like I don't know how to like have all my units interact in such a way to get the ball in the goal. But like there are teams that are very fucking good at it.
Yeah.
And can do it very easily. And ones that struggle a little bit more. But yeah, it's a fucking MOBA, dude. The way you describe the characters, like I'm only ever gonna pick the guy with the coffin on his back when there's a team that is like a 4 supporting 1 team in a MOBA, where the entire team relies on one player's success, and they're all supporting cast.
Sure.
So like a fisherman shark lineup. I'm gonna put that fucker in my coffin, and their whole battle plan is ruined.
The rest of them are like, hey, what do we do?
Yeah. So yeah, that's actually crazy. When you describe that, I realize how similar it is to a MOBA, which
That's probably why you like it so much.
Probably, honestly, yeah. Anyways, that's my tier list. That's John's tier list.
I'd like to point out that both of your A tier games are dead games.
That's fucking. Honestly, it's funny you say that because all the video games I used to play used to all be dead games as well. I just play games that no one played anymore. So yeah, that's funny.
What does it say about you?
That I'm a fucking hipster.
Too cool for school, my
Basically.
friend.
Okay, I'm gonna hit save and download so that my results
Oh, I should do the same.
are hopefully submitted. Oh, and I get a little image. Here, look at that little image. Oh, it's so cute.
No.
Okay.
It's wrong because it doesn't look like that one.
So we will have the link in the description below in the show notes for you to do your own tier list so we can see how everyone in the community stacks up, what their preferences are. Yeah, I'm excited to see the results.
I'm excited to see Warhammer Fantasy Battles so far down the D.
Oh, yeah.
It can't take any more D.
Yeah, that's going to be in the D. Guild Ball's going to be in the D. No, it's going to be good. 40K, I'm getting guys.
Yeah.
40K is going to be A tier.
But if you haven't at least played, at the very least, a demo, just put it as NA because we want really your real firsthand experience. If you're like, that game is dumb, I've not played it, but it's dumb.
Yeah, don't spite stuff.
Yeah.
I could have done that with fucking Hordes and War Machine. I didn't.
And we had a pretty sizable scene, even though we have a small town, of Hordes. And people that liked it just really like it. And it looked like a cool game, but I never played it. Let's get out of the newsy news.
Out of the news.
Scotty Poos. What do you got for us, Scotty Poos?
Okay. I'm looking at the wrong segment. Okay. Tabletop time from Jazza. Jazza is a big 5 million subscriber YouTube channel here on YouTube. That's because it's a YouTube channel. Obviously, it's going to be on YouTube. And he recently rediscovered his love for miniature painting. His channel focuses on all kinds of art forms, ink, sculpting, carving with wood, like everything. And one thing he tried recently, which was miniature painting. And he's actually collaborated with a few miniature painting YouTubers, myself, Emil, and more, and some trained people as well. And so because of this outpouring of love, he reignited an old channel that he had called Tabletop Time, which if you go back into the archives of his channel, were him playing RPGs with his brother and probably other people as well. And I believe this channel is now going to be that again, but also some miniature painting content.
Interessante.
Yeah, I don't know if like it's all going to go on this channel, or some will go on his main and some will go on this one. I don't know how he's going to play it, but it's cool, and you should check it out, subscribe, and see what he's going to do on there.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I didn't know that. Okay. My bit of news to talk about is the Games Workshop recently announced that they will be opening a Warhammer store and cafe in Los Angeles, California in 2021.
Similar to the Texas one?
Yes. It sounds like it's another big fancy get your $7 coffee and your $40 Blood Angels in one trip kind of place. Curious that is something that's on their frickin' radar right now. Now, I'm sure the wheels are in motion for that prior to COVID. But as a company that can't get its shit together to get their products out, to put the resources, time, effort, and energy on opening a store when we can't really do much in stores, like it just, I don't know. And what it probably is that this doesn't detract from anything else that the organization is dealing with, but I just thought it was kind of odd.
So it's opening during the coronavirus?
Well, it says opening in 2021.
Okay.
So it could very well not open its doors until after, gets this alt gone. I don't know.
If we ever go to Texas, we should teach a class in that area where that cafe is, so we can go check it out.
And we use our Texas accents.
Oh yeah, they'd love that.
Right, we sound just like them. I'll have a T-bone with a bacon T-bone side.
Give me a ribeye.
Oh, 2 ribeyes. That's good.
Medium rare.
Ooh.
Just salt and pepper, nothing else.
We don't want none of that.
No, none of that A1 sauce. I want the beef to sing.
We don't want these city folk messing with our potatoes.
All right, now that we've offended everyone in the South, let's. Is there anything more you want to say about the cafe? Are you excited for it? Are you going to LA?
Dude, we're going to go to LA and go to that one, too.
Oh, yeah.
We need to go to Warhammer World, too.
Yes.
I want to drive away in the Rhino that's outside.
Well, we'll do the. We'll go when they do the big Golden Demon Classic event, and then we'll go to Warhammer World. I think it's in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll win.
Yes.
Slayer swords.
Both of us.
Yeah, 2 Slayer swords. They'll be like,
we'll be holding the sword together.
Yeah. We'll be like, both of your pieces were so incredible. We had to forge another sword in the back room real quick.
It's made out of like tinfoil and fucking aluminum tape.
Yeah! And you guys both win all the swords.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Let's talk about sad news.
Let's talk about some sad news.
Adepticon 2021 was just canceled. Now, this hurt my heart less than the last one hurt my heart.
Same.
Because of 2 reasons. Reason the first. The writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that exact phrase.
That's
definitely a John-ism.
Yeah. We knew it was coming. And Adepticon happens the end of March. And guys, it's only like December. Fuck, it's already December.
Dude, yeah.
They had to get all their stuff in order, in line, money spent, dealing with hotels, dealing with all the stuff that they've got to deal with up front for months and months in advance. And so even if, by end of March, the world's in a totally different place, that still means that they're taking a giant gamble by doing what they need to do now.
Yes.
The most positive thing out of that message is by doing this, we are ensuring that Adepticon will be back in 2022.
Oh, yeah? Where's the crystal ball?
Well,
How do we know that?
I don't know.
Dude, nothing is off. I feel like anything can happen.
Anything. Yeah. I mean, anything can happen, but they need to give us some hope to cling to.
Yeah.
So I fully approve of their statement.
I feel like a year is so far away that I don't really care if it's going to happen or not going to happen. Like, I'll care more as it gets closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reason the second why it sucks less.
Yeah.
We didn't have it last year, so I don't have my still fresh in my brain memories of how awesome it was.
You have old cobwebbed memories.
I have cobweb memories of us wandering the halls in the nighttime.
Inebriated.
Yeah. I mean, completely, totally sober. And just hanging out with people and having great conversations, and that's all it's about. So that's the bummer.
That's a big bummer.
So we might have a little bit of good news, but only for us. That's VinciCon 2021.
VinciCon? What's that, John?
VinciCon is where a very select group of people, namely 3 people, get invited to Vinci V's house for an extended weekend with his doggos and painting miniatures and playing video games. And playing Age of Sigmar.
Yep.
And making Vince DM for us for D&D.
We have a lot of things we need to do.
That's why VinciCon is an action-packed con.
Okay.
And I didn't tell Vince yet.
Did you guys get a schedule? Is there a phone app I can download?
Yeah, you can reserve your hotel room. You just have to text Kathy, who is Vince's wife.
Kathy, I want your bedroom. You get to sleep in the guest bedroom. I want the king.
I'm sure. Well, it probably seems like a good idea until you have the 14 golden retrievers sleeping in the bed with you.
Oh yeah.
It's just a
I mean, that kind of sounds like heaven to me, man.
Yeah, dude. Golden retrievers are the happiest things on the planet.
Heck yeah, dude.
I'm so excited to spend time with those dogs and Vince and Sam.
Yeah, Vince. Dogs kind of higher on the list than Vince,
So while we were here for ScootyCon 2020, we had already started the plans for VinciCon. But just general, just thinking things through. This was so fun. We got to do it again, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No real details. But as soon as that Facebook message went out from Adepticon explaining that it was canceled, the bat phone just lit up. You're like,
the bat phone?
Yeah, the bat phone.
Oh, okay.
It's the app that we have on our phones where we can, cross the streams and all talk about important things.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the bat phone.
Not related to the bat light at all.
No.
Okay.
No, not the bat signal, you mean?
No, the bat light.
Oh, he's just got like a Maglite flashlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you kind of Sharpie to bat signal.
And we immediately needed to talk about positive things since the negative thing just hit us.
Yeah.
We need to talk about VinciCon. So we don't know any more details at this point exactly what VinciCon will be.
Yeah.
Other than all the things I named on our agenda.
I don't know if Vince is going to get any vendors in there.
I think the vendors are going to be like the Domino's pizza delivery guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be like, oh yeah, it looks like our next vendor's coming through at 6:00 tonight.
Yeah, so here's how you can take joy in this. I encourage you, as safely as you can, in the wake of this shit getting canceled, reach out to some of your closer friends and be like, hey, let's plan a weekend where we all sleep in the same place and we pretend like we're at a convention, playing games, painting minis, whatever the fuck you want to do. I mean, I don't need to tell you how to have fun. You know how to have fun. But you guys should do that too.
Yeah. And even to me, as much fun as it is that weekend, me having something positive to look forward to is a big deal. So you could say like, okay, let's start hashing out ideas. Let's start talking about things. We don't need to set a date. We don't know. Maybe if we don't want to do it until everybody's vaccinated, we can get all our details planned, and then all we got to do is figure out the date. Whatever you're comfortable with doing, or make it virtual. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but having something to look forward to in the hobby is important to me. I don't know if it's important to everybody, but makes me happy.
Are we driving there?
Yes, and we're picking up Sam on the way.
2-day drive, right?
No, 1 day.
1 day?
Yeah.
How long is it?
It's like 10 hours.
Didn't Vince do 2 days?
He did it in 2 days, yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think I Google Maps it. It was 10 hours.
Yeah, that's not that bad. That's
Not
doable.
that bad. If we get an early start, we pick up Sam, we get there.
Okay.
Okay. You're just processing right now.
Yeah. I'm figuring it out in my head.
Right.
All right.
We'll drive by Popeyes. We're good. We got a piss bucket. Everyone's got to bring their own milk jug.
Got 3 yellow milk jugs. All right. Last bit of news. Not ancient history, but my friend shared this awesome Reddit post with me on r/artifact porn. The title is "The Court at Delhi on the Birthday of Grand Mughal Aurangzeb" by Johann Melchior Dinglinger.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm not telling you. It's 18th century diorama made of 4,909 diamonds, 160 rubies, and other precious stones, and gold, and silvers, and enamels. This diorama is a work of fucking art. It's amazing. It's massive. It's incredibly precious and valuable. And there's so much going on. I would love to see this in a museum somewhere. I know it's somewhere, but I don't know where. I think it's might be in Dresden in Germany. Could be somewhere else now. But it is so cool. Such a cool piece of history, and you should definitely check it out. I'll have it linked in the show notes, obviously. A nice high-res photo for you to look at. It's really cool.
It's made in the 1700s.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Crazy.
The quality of the figures is insane.
Yeah. How the fuck do they make that? Maybe
I'm sure when
sculpting
you
each
look
one?
it up super close, they're not like, oh, amazing detail. But like, there's folds in the robes. There's all the textures. Yeah, the painted textures on all this fabric and everything is banana hammocks. That's
Banana
nuts. Yeah, look at that. There's like an albino elephant in there.
Yeah, the back left, yeah.
Man. I like how too, like, they've got mirrors on stuff. Like the dude in the back, he's like standing next to like a 12-foot tall mirror, because in like 1700s, that mirror was probably more precious than the diamonds that encrusted it. Like the value of what they look at. Oh man, then there's the dude in the back. Wow. I wonder how much this costs to get done. Like when whatever the dude's name, the Grand Pumbaa, that commissioned this to be done. I wonder how much it cost him. It was probably like $35 American.
I don't know.
It's got to be worth a buttload of money just for the amount of gold, silver, diamonds. 4,900 diamonds?
Yeah, dude.
160 rubies? 1701 to 1707. It took 6 years to make this.
Dude.
But if you got you had to hand carve everything.
Right. Does that win an Adepticon right there, dude? The 6-year project?
It doesn't even make Final Cut. That's how good the painting is today.
Yeah.
But that would be hilarious to bring in something of this size for a diorama. He's be like, get this in the case, bitch.
This is a different kind of thing, right? This is like bringing like a model kit and using model kit techniques at a miniature painting event. Like it serves a different purpose.
Right.
Regardless though, it's fucking awesome.
That is a cool piece of ancient history.
Is it ancient?
I mean, it's your old definition of ancient. I don't know. It's pretty old though, dude.
Okay.
Pretty old.
Pretty old, dude.
And with that, we have once again come to the end of our road for today's episode.
We're glad that you came with us on this journey and other things that I say at the end of the podcast.
I wish we had a shoe that we could like flop from one hand to the other like Mr. Rogers. Okay, there you go. God damn it, you were ready for this.
Okay. If you like the podcast, which I assume you do if you've listened to all 2 hours or whatever the fuck it is of this, and you want to support it, there are many ways you can do that. Free and non-free. You can watch this podcast with ads on.
Ooh.
There are add-ons that you can have on Chrome and Firefox that allow you to whitelist certain channels. You can consider whitelisting our channel. That'd be cool. You can tell your nerd friends about us. You can give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, etc. Non-free ways you can buy our merch. We have the Old Faithful logo on a sweater, a crew neck sweater, and a t-shirt. We also have a new sweater.
A new shirt.
Woo! We're not wearing it right now because we don't have it yet. We will soon.
It's in the mail to us, but it isn't to our doorstep yet.
Yes. And it features the lovely work of Ryan O'Brien and all of the meat and potato glory that this podcast is.
So full of tendies.
So you can pick one of those up. We have a hoodie variant and a t-shirt variant of that. That's linked in the show notes below. And then finally, you can support us on Patreon, which gets you access to an extended version of the podcast, wherein we chat about our favorite models that we've seen from other painters. We talk about new things that we've tried and experimented with in the past fortnight. And then finally, we give you feedback about one of your models. So obviously, as part of that extended podcast, you also can submit models to us to give feedback for. And also, you can suggest topics for us to discuss in the podcast. And those are all the ways that you can support us. That you can also just like, I don't know, you can like cheerlead.
Is that a thing? Are you saying that?
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
You should just go out in the street.
Yeah, in the street.
Be like, Mrs. Johnson, watch this. You just throw your phone at her like a boomerang.
You can tell your wife about the podcast, even though she doesn't care, but she has to listen because she loves you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sweetie, now you need to watch this whenever you're getting ready for bed every night. We need the view counts to go up.
Yes. That's what I do for my wife. I know you don't care about Dota, but I just want to tell you what happened because it was really cool.
And then the tiny player, what he did is he fucking threw him over the wall. Farming in the jungle.
And then she doesn't care at all.
No.
But I still want to tell someone.
And you're here with me all day, every day, so you get it.
Exactly. All right, John. Anything else for the good peeps? The goody peepees.
Yeah, the goody peepees. You know who you are. You know where you sleep. I know where you know where you sleep.
Get a little loopy right now.
My tummy's ready for some love that chicken from Popeye.
I got some bad news for you then.
Oh, you got something that's not Popeyes.
That's going to do it for this one.
No!
We'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, we will catch you on the
Flippity flop.